Sam, we need to we need to correct the. What am I trying to say?
Correct course. We gotta right the ship. We gotta.
We're Jack and Rose right now.
Back on track. We're getting on the platform together.
It's been fun to draw you nude every week, but eventually,
fuck you in a car.
Put our steamy hands in the window. Eventually, the outside forces did get to us. The iceberg of, look, I don't know what I'm trying to say other than, do you think that you're Jack or Rose?
If I had to be honest, I think the reason that this works is I think we're a little bit both.
That's true. Wow.
You have the sort of artistic abilities, right? If you think about how you make the artwork for each week's episode, so you've got sort of that Jack element. I'm kind of roguishly handsome. I'm like a delightful sort of scamp, which that's the very Jack. We both have beautiful bodies like Rose, I guess Jack also has a beautiful body. Look, I shouldn't be talking about people's bodies. The point is we're both talented and sexy, and just like Leo and Kate.
And doomed, I think, also.
Yeah, talented, sexy, and doomed, the 155 story.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about this week, to sort of write the Now I'm getting caught up in trying to do it.
We both have a large collection of valuable jewels that we stored at the bottom of the ocean. We both, of course, have turbulent relationships with Billy Zane.
To be honest with you, this whole time as I've started this, I've been trying to make some sort of jacking off Rose wordplay, like your erection rose and then you jack or something. I'm just kind of, that's what's swirling in my head. And it's wrong because I'm trying to correct the course of this show. And the only way we can correct the course of this fucking podcast is if we go back to the source. I'm talking TB, baby.
Bark, bark, woof, woof. My dogs are howling.
The pain that was Punk Month is behind us. It is now July 1st. It's time for a new horizon. I think we're going to talk about Travis for a little while. And this week, kind of a weird week, but this week we're going to be talking about Kravis. Are you aware of Kravis?
I am not aware. It's Courtney, right?
Yes, and I am,
okay.
I've always been like kind of against the artsy types who think that they're cool and clever for saying "What's a Kardashian?" That's always.
And I was not trying to do that. I was not trying to do that. I just
I know that you're not. But what I'm saying to you is, I actually have gotten to maybe it's my age or the fact that I've read like 2 books in the last 2 years. But I have forgotten who's who, and I'm kind of entering a "What's a Kardashian" phase. So it's pretty confusing even for me, because I think one time I said he was dating Khloe on the pod, and some people got really mad at me. The people who listen to Who Weekly or whatever. So I'm becoming a "What's a Kardashian" type of guy, and that's kind of scaring me, to be honest.
Yeah, I would never. I think the What's a Kardashian types are like, it's the same as the I don't even own a television. Like, you're basing your personality around something that doesn't matter, and you're basing it around like the absence of something that already doesn't matter. So I will say that I don't think it'll line up, especially because having looked at pictures of them, they are not necessarily individually like recognizable sort of over the years. I don't think I would recognize the differences. Like, I obviously know Kim, but then otherwise they are sort of unfamiliar to me. I would have trouble picking them out of a lineup. And I'm not saying that because I'm like, aren't I wonderful? I actually think the idea of like being, and maybe it is sort of the Who Weekly-fication of like celebrity gossip for people kind of in our demographic. I increasingly think that being into celebrity gossip is like fun and interesting, but it holds no power for me.
Yeah, like imagine thinking that celebrity gossip is cringe, but also thinking it's cool to say, wrestling is actually Marxist.
Right, yeah. Or just being like, imagine being like the sort of Punisher who is like, actually, this is the lineup of the Swarm on this particular, release. And you're like, that's the same as knowing which celebrity is dating which celebrity. It's just like, it's just literally micro celebrity. None of it matters. And it's all just based on sort of what turns your crank. And for some people that is, hardcore. And for some people it is,
cardcore. Oh, that's good.
Fuck, there's got to be something here. There's got to be, and it didn't.
Sometimes you just toss it up knowing that I'm going to catch it, and I do the same for you, and quite often you do catch it. So
quite often, great. Yeah,
we're doing good. So
we're just jacking Rose, man.
I think jacking Rose. There's got to be something there.
Yeah,
I think that Kravis is maybe though the worst couple name of all time.
As a question, was Bennifer the first big, like, what's the origin of the kind of couple portmanteau, right? Is that what that is?
Is it? Yeah, it must.
Because some of them work. Like Bennifer is like a truly just like, I've said it twice now, and I've loved the way it feels coming out of my mouth. Kravis sounds like the name. There's this bar around the corner from us that
you go to with your landlord.
That me and my landlord hang out at, and they got booted for not paying their rent, and they had a chalkboard out front. And so at some point during the pandemic, some couple, I guess, in the neighborhood sort of wrote on the chalkboard, like, we're pregnant with our first kid, what should we name him? And literally, like, organically across these chalkboards used to have, like, the daily specials on them that are sort of tacked onto the building, this sort of like org chart, like this sort of like voting system of and they I don't remember which type of kid they were having, but anyway, it was like people voting on names and stuff, and all of the names were like Kravis. They ended up naming their kid like, fuck, hold on one second. Hey Ashley, do you remember what they named their kid? The fucking old York, or not the Yam, the don't people. The chalkboard out in front of the don't?
Sam's in the middle of moving right now, folks.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. They're anyway. They named the kid like Durston or something like that. Like so real good. Like total fucking like white yoga people kind of like names for kids, which like Kravis feels very much like this is our son Kravis. Well,
Yeah. Okay.
That would be like two wellness influencers.
While you're talking about this, I'm on the wiki for name blending. I don't know if you can read this, but so. Name blending, meshing, or melding is the practice of combining two existing names to form a new name. An example is the combination of the surnames Dresser and McLaughlin to form the new surname of game designer Clay Dresslow. Now, what I don't understand is this guy Clay Dresslow made Baseball Mogul and Football Mogul computer sports games. I mean, no one's ever heard of this fucking person on Earth, but he's mentioned in the very first section, and also notable people with blended surnames. I mean, clearly Clay Dresslow is running this shit, trying to get some SEO up on his.
Good on you, Clay Dresslow.
Clay Dresslow. Maybe I will check out Football Mogul by Clay Dresslow.
I mean, I'm personally most interested in Baseball Mogul by Clay Dresslow, but overall, the sort of entire Dresslow-verse holds.
Clay Dresslow.
See, Clay Dresslow's about as good to say as Bennifer, actually.
It does look like the celebrity couple section on the name blending wiki. The first one mentioned is Bennifer. I think you were right, maybe. It started the trend, and then of course there was Brangelina, which is annoying, but annoying enough to be funny. I like it. I think it's still funny. Kim Ye, that was
okay.
Tomcat for Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, that's bad. I don't like that.
That was bad.
Robert Thompson, director of the Center for the Study of Popular Television, said, as silly as it sounds, this new tendency to make up single names for two people, like Bennifer and Tomcat, is an insightful idea. Brangelina has more cultural equity than their two star parts. I wonder if Clay Dresslow added that. I don't think that's true at all. I wonder if Clay Dresslow added that edit.
Yeah, that's a Clay Dresslow ass edit.
I mean, whether or not we like the name Kravis, this meeting of Travis Barker and the Kardashians, I mean, I think that for decades to come, people are going to be talking. Like, this is a huge pop culture moment that's, like, hilariously massive. And I don't know if Kravis is really the name to say, but it is. It is the name that's been chosen, and we're going to hear from her later. But the founder of kravis4ever.
Did she invent the term?
I can't remember.
I mean, I guess.
We'll
yeah,
find
I guess
out.
there's only so many ways to do it.
She'll answer the question. Yeah, actually, I was going to ask you that because I don't even think. I mean, what could your couple name could be like? Oh, Sash. That would be good. Is it always the first names? It seems to be.
Tomcat. Yeah, we occasionally, and this has happened. Like you have to add a letter, but like Smashly has been banned. Like Ashley just like looked at me like she knows. Like, that's a thing that has like occasionally been used by the local press to describe us as like a star couple. And what about you?
I guess people have said Josera before, which is
that sucks.
It's not very good, but I don't think there's any other way to say it. Sarsaya, not good.
Is it always like because these feel like they're basically exclusively heterosexual couples that get these names, and is it always the dude that goes first?
Ooh, interesting.
Right? A little bit of fucking...
Well, no, because...
everyday sexism.
That's why we're...
Kravis is breaking the mold.
Actually, Kimye, too. Once you have the powerful K of the Kardashian clan...
You can't put that K anywhere else, yeah.
And I did spell clan with a K when I said that out loud. But yeah, this one is fucking huge. I mean, Kravis is everywhere. Kravis is happening. kravis4ever is the account. Shout out to Fiona and Georgia for cluing me into the kravis4ever account. We're gonna hear from her later and what her life is like. But I just wanted to like sort of walk you through some key Kravis moments. I mean, I'm just scrolling through the page. Addison Rae and Courtney. I almost forgot again because I don't know what's a Kardashian. They've been wearing like Blink reissued the old anime art with kind of slightly different anime. It doesn't look as good as the 155 boot, but the timing was almost identical.
What does? Do you think they ripped us off? Do you think they're listeners?
I think so. They were, but Addison Rae and Courtney were like on TikTok singing Blink songs. I mean, Travis.
Who is? Please.
Travis, I'm not going to tell you who Addison Rae is. That's a whole other thing. Maybe we should do a whole influencer month. And let's see, it's hashtag with Poosh says. I think Courtney's brand is called Poosh, which is such a disgusting word. But, so he's in, like, what I love about this is that I was looking around the Blink subreddit. I haven't looked too much on r/punk. Maybe we can get a fact check from the r/punkers in the community. But it does seem like not a lot of people are talking about the fact that Travis is constantly wearing like $500 old merch of punk bands. So he is wearing an exploited shirt while walking around Kravis. Half of Kravis is always wearing punk merch. And I think that that's just wonderful. He's wearing a Crass t-shirt, picking up coffee So keep the guy who brings you coffee or matcha or champagne disguised in a coffee cup. Whatever is what kravis4ever says here.
I love it.
She's got a lot of funny things to say all the time, and she.
I get it. That photo of Travis carrying the two coffees and like anytime I go out and get two coffees and like bring one back to Ashley, I'm like, I hope that someone is seeing me because they must know that I'm being a great partner right now.
My favorite thing to do, and we have a joint account because we just do. It's easier. But my favorite thing to do is to always be like, oh, I'll get that out loud when we're buying stuff so that I seem like such a kind person, even though it's just our money. Here they are at Disneyland. He's wearing a Subhumans shirt. I mean, is this just like old hat that it doesn't even matter anymore? I still think we need to recognize kind of the beauty and irony of Travis Barker walking around wearing like hilarious punk merch while he's with a Kardashian.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, I increasingly, because I've like been really into like say like the like Kenny Hoopla, Travis Barker thing, and we've talked about some of the other stuff that he's been doing lately. Like, I feel like Travis Barker in the last year in particular has done so much for like keeping and we may have an opportunity to talk about this more in the coming weeks, like keeping quote unquote pop punk like relevant and also like open to like a wide audience. That I really think that like Travis these days is sort of like doing the Lord's work from a punk standpoint. Like, it's not gatekeepy. And so like he deserves these shirts and these Kardashians or whatever, I feel like there's no disconnect. I feel like he has somehow managed to sort of exist in this incredible sort of celebrity sphere.
Yeah, maybe the fact that
I'm sort of like really impressed by the tightrope that he is walking.
Exactly. But I also think it maybe shows some sort of like cultural healing or something. Maybe not even in a good way, but in the way that a sore can heal over. It's like there's no one left to even get mad that you're wearing a Fugazi bootleg while you're, or
I like
a
that you
Black
called it a
Flag shirt.
sore, not a wound. Like a sore healing over, not a cut heals, but a fucking sore.
I don't know, just like culturally, like it seems like the punk Punishers lost, and I think it is a net positive that's the
I think
case.
Travis won, and so this idea of the like you can't what's a Kardashian, this person that I think in their like day-to-day life as a like rich, powerful, influential person is sort of like consistently enacting the beliefs of the expensive vintage t-shirts that they're wearing while posing like, you know, fucking in the desert.
Yeah,
I
this
don't know
is a
what
pretty
that
famous Kravis post where it looks like he's putting his thumb up her ass, but I don't think he is. But it is this one. This one did pop off when it first happened. And kravis4ever says these two give me chills. End game. Also, who took this? I do wonder who takes it. They're doing like
yeah.
now that I follow. Like even just seeing kravis4ever posts or following Travis, like obviously I follow kravis4ever. We're friends now, but like the amount of PDA they're doing is scary and it's like intense. And I do wonder who's taking these photos. There's this, I'm not sure if it's on her gram or not, but there was this photo where it looks like she's giving him a blowjob on Instagram, but then she reveals that she was sucking on his thumb, and it's like it's absurd.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that's. Is it scroll down? Scroll down. I think it might. Is it that one bottom right?
This one?
I don't know. Is that the thumb sucking?
That's
No.
not it. But either way, I mean, people don't need to hear us describe it. We might get too aroused, really. But you know, there is
Jack our roses.
That's right. In Travis's book, one thing that's happening is Shayna Mokler is really pissed about this, and she's coming for Travis a lot. And she pointed out that he once claimed to have slept. She claimed that he once slept with Kim. Well, here's the quote from his book from Kardashian Video. I mean, I'm getting all my Travis Barker news from the KUWTK subreddit rather than the Blink-182 one. But here's the clip from his book. When I was having some time off with Shayna, I started talking with Kim Kardashian. We had stayed in touch after Amsterdam, and she did some modeling for Famous. I hired Estevan Oriol to shoot a whole ad campaign of her in bathing suits. Kim's tape had come out, and she had broken up with Ray J. She wanted to do a reality show because she thought her family was interesting, and obviously she was right. I respected her hustle. She was meeting with Ryan Seacrest and wanted to know what doing a show was like. It's hectic, I told her. You have no privacy. It's not just you and your family in the house. It's really personal, and it can be really fucked up. Kim and I started hanging out. We went to dinner. We went to lunch. You might think I would be doing the worst things with this girl because of her tapes, but it was the exact opposite of any other encounter I'd had with a woman. With Kim, I wanted to be nothing but a gentleman to her. It was so weird. We were around each other a lot. We used her in ad campaigns for Famous. She came to my house and went swimming. We watched the 4th of July fireworks together. I'd go visit her and her family at their clothing store. We'd be really sweet around each other, like little kids, and then when we were apart, she'd call me and say, I want to see you again. Me too, I'd say. I love that this reads like fan fiction.
I know, like this feels like a Wattpad thing.
Shayna and I started talking to each other again, and we reunited one more time, but I really wanted to see Kim. Shayna caught wind of what was going on. She poured a drink on Kim at a party thrown by Carmen Electra. I felt terrible. Kim and I never touched each other. It just wasn't meant to be. So this book did come out a long time before Kravis happened. So I think he might be, I think he's telling the truth. I don't think that anything really happened with Kim, and he ended up with Courtney, and they're doing great together.
No, you, as the big reader between us, are the only one that's read the Travis Barker book. And haven't you said that like the entire book is basically just him bragging about, bagging broads?
Well, I mean, even just this section is very telling. You would think I was doing the worst things with this girl because of her tapes, but it was the exact opposite of any other encounter I've had with a woman, which he explains as simply he had the desire to be a gentleman to her. So it's
just like so weird. I like want to respect this person and be nice to them and enjoy our time together. It's fucked up.
There's one post about it on the Blink-182 Reddit 4 months ago of them confirming the relationship. Some really disgusting sexist jokes, and someone calls it disgusting, their relationship, and someone else says it has no impact on your life, get a grip. her posting a Blink meme on her story the other day is what solidified it for me. LOL. So they're kind of just like being psycho obsessive Blink fans. But on the Kardashians thing, people are speculating that she's pregnant with Travis Barker's twins. I think based on
Why twins?
based on, I think it's based. It says here, how do you know it's twins? The pink and green posts. I think like they're using like color coding in different Instagram posts and Insta stories to speculate. So this is all happening. The most important thing that's happening, this happened in May. Travis Barker seemingly shares lyrics penned about girlfriend Kourtney Kardashian. The song called "Through the City with Me." Look, I do want to spend some time talking about Travis and appreciating his sort of mark on pop culture right now. I also just want to say that this is just kind of the funniest. This is from Life and Style magazine. The musician seemingly shared a photo of lyrics he wrote about girlfriend Kourtney Kardashian. First of all, just opening this paragraph with the 45-year-old shared a screenshot of his notes after his Instagram stories. That just really hammers home this is a 45-year-old man.
I know, like, why did they gotta do him like that?
And the lyrics,
the legendary pop punk drummer,
yeah,
like, we're just reducing Travis Barker to the 45-year-old.
Well, this is a 45-year-old sharing lyrics that he's written for his girlfriend. She likes rolling with the top down when no one else around. In my Cadillac downtown, through the city at night, through the city with me, through the city with me, through the city with me. I mean, I hope this song gets released because I would love to really dig into the whole thing. The lyrics are like so. I mean, I think there's a time in my life where I would have said that these are bad lyrics, but they're so simple and vague that it's actually like they're just kind of profound. Like they almost seem like, you know, Sun Kill Moon guy seems like a huge piece of shit, but they almost seem like his kind of like style of almost documentarian narrative lyrical prose, where it's just like so simple that you have to respect it almost.
I wonder if he's describing the Cadillac that Bill Billingsley bought, but I guess maybe the timeline doesn't quite line up.
It doesn't line up, but then again, yeah, maybe there's some more creative things. So with the timeline, maybe he was sort of remembering the old Cadillac. Or maybe I mean, you'll hear from kravis4ever. They've been hanging out for a long time, so it is possible. It's the same. It's the Bill caddy
noodling in Bill's caddy.
So this is 3 days ago on the Keeping Up with the Kardashians subreddit. A snippet of Travis singing the song he wrote for Kourtney on his first singing EP. So apparently Travis is releasing an EP where he actually sings. Because remember...
according to the Keeping Up with the Kardashians subreddit.
Oh, are you saying...
Has that been reported anywhere else?
So you're saying what's a Kardashian, basically, to their level of journalistic
I'm not. I'm sorry.
I think you are.
Listen, I've never seen anyone from Keeping Up with Kardashians subreddit like at the Planet of the Pageman, you know, on industry night.
Well, here's the thing, Sam. This is a link to a snippet, and before I click, I don't want to like. I want to just talk about. So Gondek Draws. I don't know who this is, but the snippet is on a verified account. This does not seem to be a musician. This is a deconstructive pop artist based in Well, they've spelled Los Angeles wrong. I don't know if that's some sort of... Is that... What the hell? Los Angeles, is that supposed to be like that? Are you
I guess the city of Los Angeles. Yes.
This person has 270,000 followers, almost 269. They're verified. I don't think they're dicking around. I also don't think that they're a singer, okay? Travis Barker previously only ever whispered on, was it Down? This can't be it. I mean, he's never really been much of a vocalist. I think this snippet is actually Travis singing for the first time. So this week, this snippet was uploaded. The lyrics obviously published to Instagram in May. Here we go. Oh, let me see if you can hear this.
She likes rolling with the top down when no one else is around. In my Cadillac downtown through the city at night.
Yeah.
It's being sold.
I believe that's Travis. That's so fucking great.
It's being sold as an NFT also, this song.
Yes.
Is there more music here? No, maybe not. Just videos of the... I mean, that also sounded more like... what did that sound like? Is that what Social Distortion sounded? It had a little bit of...
No, it reminds me of something really specific. I mean, it just sounds like old punk. Play it again. I kind of want to hear it one more time. The last one with the top down.
Let's see if I can't leave the window. Sorry.
She likes rolling with the top down when no one else is around. In my Cadillac downtown.
His voice sounds good.
His voice sounds great. It sort of sounds like he's the third singer in Francis.
Yeah, like how did it take this long for him to get on the mic with that kind of a voice?
I know it's because I always thought his voice was like high. Like it always feels like it's kind of like yeah, it's up here, you know.
Yeah.
But like but I believe in his shouting context. Like it sounds. I don't know. I buy it. Sure.
So there you go. He's so in love that he started singing for her. So that's kind of the big, the big update. Now before we get to kravis4ever, I it does feel like a moot point that he's wearing punk shirts on the Kardashians. That these two worlds are being merged. Like it just seems like there's nothing left to make people mad anymore. And I posted this clip on my Instagram a long time ago because I love it so much. I wonder if this will make someone mad. I think it has been making some people mad. Since then, it's been popping up here and there on different pages. This is from Vogue. It's an interview at home with Kim Kardashian. I think this is pre-Kanye divorce. Maybe Kim will also start dating a pop punk guy. I mean, it's really becoming in vogue to date a pop punk. Who could she date? Fat Mike?
Is there another Madden brother? Fat Mike, yeah.
Kim Kardashian and Fat Mike should start dating. So
I hope she starts dating Cokie the Clown.
Doesn't realize that was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it's like a spoilers for The Prestige incoming. I hope it's like a situation where like maybe one of the remaining Kardashians dates Fat Mike and like one of them is dating Cokie the Clown.
Well, here's what Kim has to say.
And they don't realize it, and it's quite heartbreaking.
Let's see if this makes anyone mad listening. I mean, I've already seen it, and I've loved every second of it.
Okay.
I was, and this is the last question, I was on the phone with Lady Gaga's publicist the other day. We somehow decided that there was something punk rock about you, that you're not calculated and that kind of fuck the haters, you know, and I dare you to look away kind of presence that you have, you know what I mean? And I just, it was an interesting moment of like celebrating something about you that was very specific.
Thank you.
And I wondered if, you know, there's something punk about you. It's like,
I think so. I remember having this conversation with Riccardo Tisci because when I went to my first Met Ball, the theme was punk. And I was like, what is this? What am I going to wear? I would have done anything to go. Yeah. And he was just like, fuck it, you're punk. Like it is what it is. And I get that. And as I'm, I think, more confident in myself, I get that more. And I think punk is just an attitude. It just means that you live your life your way and beat to your own drum. And hopefully that makes people, inspire people to want to do that for themselves.
Perfect ending.
Cool.
Thanks. Great.
Oh my God, so fun.
An absolute delight.
I love the sort of.
I mean,
the casual.
Why do they include that part? Yeah, that's.
It's just like her dead
like,
in face being like, "Yeah, so fun."
It's just sort of like when you wrap up the podcast and you're like, "Okay, that was great. Thank you so much." They're like, "Oh yeah, it was cool." You know, it's great. I think that was a really good episode, man. Yeah, I don't know. I buy it. I think she's fucking right. I mean, like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
I
think I've noticed there's been some pushback in some degree on the idea that punk isn't real or that it's stupid. I've seen some people on Twitter be like, well, I mean, punk is obviously a real thing. And that's true too. But this speaks to kind of the tension that I'm interested in with our show now that we are no longer doing the episode that we just finished before this, that we shall never speak of again.
I don't know which episode you're talking about.
But yeah, I don't know. Shout out to the Kardashians. I'm happy that I know who they are and I don't have to say what's a Kardashian. I'm so happy that Travis has found love with Kourtney. I can't wait to see what comes of that, and I can't wait to hear. Well, maybe we'll get to do a whole episode on his punk song when it comes out.
Oh, that would be quite the treat.
All right. Well, until then, let's hear from our new friend kravis4ever.
She likes rolling with the top down when no one else is around. In my Cadillac downtown through the city at night.
Welcome to 155. I'm very excited to have with me the person who runs the account kravis4ever. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to talk to you because there's so many questions I have. I mean, this is just a crazy development in pop culture, I think. But first of all, maybe tell us a little bit about who you are.
Sure. So my name's Crystal Vasquez. I am, a super fan of the Kardashians. Always have been. Always had like a really special place in my heart for Kourtney. I just love what a great mom she is. But I've also always been in awe of Travis Barker's talent. I've never seen anyone possess so much talent when it comes to playing the drums. And I've just always been a really, really big fan of his music and how well he plays. So when the two got together, it was kind of just like, okay, this is awesome. Two of my favorite pop culture celebs getting together, and I mean, they're just so in love. They're so dynamic and engaging. And so I decided to start a fan page, and the rest is history. I can't believe how much it's evolved.
Right. So is it safe to say then you're a fan of the band Blink-182?
I am. I have to say, I don't know a ton of their music, but, I know the radio hits, of course, like everyone else does, but I wouldn't say that I'm a fanatic. I'm more so in awe of his particular set of skills. I love drummers. I think it's just such a unique talent, and I could never do it. So,
right. Yeah. I mean, you don't really, that's true. You kind of just, as soon as you see him play, you're like, oh my God, he's perfected this instrument or something.
Yeah, it's incredible. Even the fact that sometimes when he's hurt, he plays one-handed. Yeah. That's nuts to me.
That's so cool. So I want to know, did you come up with the name Kravis? And is that the celebrity couple name now?
That's the celeb couple name. I don't know if I came up with it or if it just kind of, people throw names together and see what makes sense and what kind of rolls off the tongue the best. And Kravis was what came to mind. And so I said, let me start this page, Kravis, and then, playing around with what might be the catchiest handle, and kravis4ever was born.
So good. It's such a I like to imagine somebody will actually name their kid Kravis one day.
Hey, you know what? It's not that bad.
So tell me about, I guess, to be honest with you, I'm coming to this more as someone who's into Blink-182, into punk music and stuff. I'm aware of the Kardashians, but it still feels like a very strange pairing from an outside perspective to see someone like Travis Barker popping up on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, wearing kind of punk t-shirts in the Kardashians' Instagrams. I guess kind of what's the history of their relationship?
Yeah, sure. It is kind of an interesting pairing, right? Because the two, you think Kardashian, you think high fashion, super glam, and then Travis Barker, like you said, in his t-shirts, and most of the time actually not in a shirt at all, kind of just, playing the drums and punk music. But the two have actually been really good friends for years. They date back to 2016, 2015 are the most early pictures of them together as friends. And they really did bond over their love of being parents. And they have similar interests, right? They're both into vegan food. They both are into healthy lifestyles and exercising. But most notably, their kids are the centers of their world. And, that's a huge thing that really, I think, binds them together is their love for their kids and the fact that they love to just be around their children, bring them places, do experiences with them. And their kids have actually grown up together. There's a lot of old photos of their kids out for ice cream or at birthday parties, which is just a really great foundation to start with.
Right. Yeah. Because they're neighbors or something too, right? Or they used to be? Or...
Yeah. They don't live too far from each other. I think down the street.
Okay.
Kind of.
So it's convenient as well.
Yes.
So they've been friends forever. At what point did they kind of officially start dating?
So it is rumored that they were dating around November, December time, but they didn't go public until January of 2021. So that's when kind of the frenzy hit the internet. Everyone started seeing them out and about. They were most notably kind of putting some flirty comments on each other's Instagram. And so I think the first official post of them together was in February, but they were seen out and about around January 2021.
And so, like, at what point did you decide I need to be at the forefront of this? I need to start this account.
February. Yeah, the first time I saw them together in a photo, I think they were out to dinner at Crossroads, and I said, this looks different. You know, they just were kind of looking at each other like old friends do, just completely in love. And for such a new relationship to see that much emotion in their eyes and that much engagement on a date that, you know, most people were saying, oh, it's the first date. No, there was a deep connection. So I thought, let me just go ahead and start this page now. These two have been friends for years. This isn't something that's going to fizzle out, I don't think. And just knowing the two of them and how important their images are to them, I don't think that they'd go public with something either that they weren't kind of fully committed to.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. I was kind of curious from the other angle, like, you know, from an outsider perspective, you always hear that celebrities are dating each other because their publicist wants them to or something like that. Do you think there is any kind of like marketing angle to this now that Keeping Up with the Kardashians winding down and, you know, they want to stay in the public spotlight? Or do you think it's still just kind of a net, like they're just truly in love?
I think it's actually the opposite. I don't think anyone in her camp probably wanted this romance to happen just because you mentioned you're not a Kardashians fan, but this season of Kardashians was centered completely around Kourtney and Scott getting back together. And so that entire narrative has been playing out for the past 6 months. And had they not had this romance go public, we would have all been all in on the Scott and Kourtney story. We would have all, you know, bought in hook, line, and sinker because it's just so juicy. But she really kind of went off on her own and went public with her relationship. And I think she threw a bit of a wrench into the, you know, the Kardashian machine.
Wow. So it's kind of like it was unstoppable. They couldn't contain it. That's great. Amazing. So before we talk about their exes a little bit, I want to ask you a bit more kind of about their posts, because you're right, they've posted a lot. What I find kind of surprising is kind of, for lack of a better term, the sheer horniness of everything they post. I mean, it's quite explicit sometimes.
It is. Yeah. You know what? I'm jealous. I mean, they're obviously having great sex, right? Like, good for them. A lot of people are like, the PDA, it's too much. They have kids, they're watching. And you know what I say to that is that neither one of them have ever really been super public about all that PDA. Like they haven't really posted a ton of like the hands on the butt and the hair pulling and the biting and all of that. And I just feel like they're probably both in the place where they finally feel this for the first time and maybe they just can't contain it. It's just raw emotion pouring out. They're being themselves, and I'm here for it. You know, I love it. I kind of want to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild. Other than that, like, what are some of the other memorable moments from the last 6 months of Kravis in terms of posts that really stood out to you?
Let's see. Definitely the first one was great, where they first confirmed that they were together with the hands being held in the photo. That was for Valentine's Day, and I really loved that one. On the raunchier side, I loved the birthday post for Kourtney with the video of the thumb sucking, you know, and the makeup session. Definitely a notable one. And then I think also the tattoo. I thought the tattoo was really sweet, right? With her tattooing on his arm, I love you. And then she also did another one on his side with a K and a heart. So that one was really sweet because that was her getting into something that he loves, you know, taking on one of his passions and owning it. And I thought that was really sweet. She may never get a tattoo herself, but the fact that she took the time to learn something that he enjoyed,
right.
I like that a lot.
And it seems like he's doing also some crazy, huge gestures. Like I feel like every time I don't keep up with the Kardashians, as I've said, but I don't pay too much close attention. But when I do see it, it seems like he's buying like $20,000 worth of flowers or something and putting them in her house. Or I don't know how much flowers cost, but it seems like that much.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the Kardashians are known for their love of flowers. They always have some sort of decadent floral arrangement. But the particular flowers that he continues to send are her favorite, which is a really sweet gesture. So it's not just a huge floral arrangement. It happens to be her favorite types of flowers, which is very thoughtful and sweet.
So you clearly love the Kardashians. I mean, how do you feel about the way that for the last 10 years or so, people have loved to just be so dismissive of the Kardashians or kind of insult them?
I think that's par for the course. When you are a celebrity, not everyone's going to love you. That's true in our everyday lives, and we're not celebrities at all, but when you are on that large of a scale, you're going to attract people who absolutely love you and who absolutely hate you. And I think they've handled it with as much grace as they can. I have a soft spot for them because I'm one of 3 girls in my family, and we fight like the Kardashians. We laugh like the Kardashians. Our mother is very funny like Kris Jenner. So I love their family dynamic, and that's what's always attracted me to them. But, there's always pros and cons to everyone. No one's going to be perfect, and no one's going to make all the right decisions.
Yeah, fair enough. Back to the post, I just remembered I was looking at your stories, I think today or yesterday, and you were pointing out, I didn't really understand it, but there was some old picture of hair being braided, and it was some sort of clue or something. I mean, do you have conspiracies that you're looking into with this stuff?
Absolutely. Not a day goes by that there's not a new Kravis conspiracy theory. Some of them make the press, and I try to be very careful about what I put out there, because at the end of the day, these are, real people, real lives. So I never want to say anything that's just going to be harmful to them in their real lives. But yeah, so one of their little things as of late is that Travis braids her hair. And, they'll post little sexy photos of her hair braided and kind of her on the bed with, flirty remarks. And in Kourtney's highlights 66 weeks ago, which is just over a year, just about a year and 3 months ago, is a photo of a woman with her hair braided and the man braiding it. Now, while the picture is not of Kourtney and Travis, it is very reminiscent of the photos that she's been posting lately. And so the theory is, have they actually been either dating or hooking up longer than we think, by a year?
Oh, wow. Or maybe she was just kind of speaking out her wishes. Her love language is to have her hair braided by someone.
Yeah, it's possible. Like I said, it could be a coincidence, but it's a very strange coincidence.
What are there any other notable Kravis conspiracies? And I'm saying conspiracy with a K, so that it really flows nicely with Kravis.
Yes, there you go. There are a few. I try to be careful with conspiracies because they can be damaging. But there have been, I think you might have seen the photo with the vial of blood. And there's a lot of theories being thrown about what that vial of blood means, because shortly before they were seen going into a medical center.
Right. Okay. Let's pause right there, because there might be listeners who haven't seen that. Explain the vial of blood, first of all.
Yeah, sure. So Travis posted a picture of a vial of blood with his name and birthday on it, which is not something that's so, crazy and outlandish, because he's posted photos like that before. What was kind of made everyone guess and think about it was Kourtney then reposted that picture with a heart on it. It's kind of a strange photo to repost if you think about, it's just a vial of blood. So it really got people wondering what the significance of that vial was, what it meant to her, why she was putting a heart on it. Like I said, it's very easy to make conspiracies about just about anything you find. But that one was definitely something that kicked up a lot of conversation in the Kravis world.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's bizarre. A vial of blood? Wow. Okay, so it seems like You mentioned Scott Disick and Courtney. I guess let's talk about them first for a second, then we'll move on to Travis and his ex. So Scott and Courtney, you're saying that they were kind of, at least the producers were making it seem like they were going to get back together. And I think I read somewhere that he's pretty pissed about all the PDA that she's been doing with Travis.
Yeah, I mean, there have definitely been some articles that said not so much that he's upset, but that he wasn't prepared for it. And that he is very hurt by it, because for a long time, Scott, I think, has thought him and Courtney would get back together at some point, and that the relationships she had in the past were nothing substantial. And so that there was still kind of that window open for him. But with Travis, obviously the connection is so much deeper. He's an older man. You know, her previous boyfriend was much younger than her. He is her age. They both have children. And so this definitely feels like a much more serious relationship for Courtney. And I think that scares Scott. I will say he's not said anything negatively about her in the press, nothing that he can be quoted on, no videos, no articles. So I think that's really mature and but also not out of character, because the two of them have always had a really great co-parenting relationship.
Right. Okay. And then obviously things are a little bit more strained with Shayna Moakler. Did you ever watch Meet the Barkers, by the way, when it was on TV?
Absolutely. I was a huge fan. I'm from Rhode Island. So, Shayna is from Rhode Island. And so I always loved Meet the Barkers. I thought it was a great show. And I never had, kind of any ill feelings towards her. I don't even say that I have any now, but I don't like the way she's handled it. I'm sure they don't like the way she's handled it.
So let's unpack that, because again, I'm sure our listeners have no idea, but obviously everyone knows who Shayna is. Everyone's seen Meet the Barkers. She's Travis's ex-wife, and she seems to be quite pissed about this relationship.
Yeah, definitely. She, since the start of this relationship, or rather since it went public, she's been making multiple claims in the press that, the Kardashians have done her wrong, that Travis had a previous relationship with Kourtney's sister, Kim, and made claims that they are kind of, pulling her kids away from her with the lure of expensive gifts and money. And so it's really been making a lot of waves. She's kind of been trying to draw the attention away from their relationship and back to her. And I understand, she's an actress, she has been in Hollywood for a long time. And so she probably sees an opportunity to jump on that Kardashian train and get a little bit of the spotlight back for herself. But I just feel like she's doing it in all the wrong ways and potentially, harming her family.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. And it's wild that she would be saying all this. But I want to know, because I feel like I did read Travis's book a long time ago, and I feel like he kind of lists it seems like he kind of slept with all of Hollywood in the 2000s. I can't remember. Did he hook up with Kim Kardashian?
He mentions Kim in his book and the fact that he met her as Paris's friend, who he was rumored to be dating at the time. And he found her very attractive. They went out a couple of times, but he always kept it really kind of gentlemanly around her. He was kind of more in awe than of her beauty and her style. My thing is, he mentions in the book that they never hooked up, that there was flirtation, that there was dating. And when he wrote that book, as you mentioned, it was years ago. So there was no Kourtney relationship. There was no reason for him to lie about what had happened. He had nobody that he was answering to at that time. So I feel like if it had happened, it probably would have been in the book.
Right.
And because he had no reason not to tell the truth in his book.
True. Have you read the book too?
I am reading it now.
Oh, yeah?
I have not read it, but I am reading it now. Yeah.
How you feeling about it so far?
I'm kind of at the beginning, and I didn't know that his fear of planes actually started before the crash.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that I've taken away from it so far. It was his mother that was terrified of planes, and on their first flight kind of gave him the nerves.
It's crazy, eh? I wonder if he's still not flying now that he's like in with the Kardashians, or if he's maybe taking some PJs around.
He has not flown yet since they've been together. However, he did say, I wish I could remember where I just read this. It was an article I just recently read that he said he is planning to fly again. There is some person, he doesn't list who the person is, that is going to show up at his door one day and say, today's the day. He's going to grab a bag. They're going to go for a short flight and come back.
Wow.
But he's waiting for that person to ask him, and he's going to do it.
That's so
don't know who it is.
mysterious.
Yeah. Some people think it's his daughter. Some people think it's Courtney. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
That's so interesting. So, Crystal, tell me, like, what is it? I just can't believe how much you know about this, and you don't even have to think. It just naturally, everything I ask you, you know it perfectly. I'm curious, like, A, what's a day in your life like, and B, kind of what's your process for collecting Kravis info?
Yeah. My days are really wild. I actually work a full-time job in addition to running the Kravis fan page. So I have a very full day, and I've got 2 little ones at home too. So it's not an easy feat to keep the page going. But yeah, I kind of just go through. First, I start with obviously their Instagram, their social media, their Twitters, and just look through what they've been posting. I also go to a lot of the magazine websites and see what I can find there. And I read a ton. I read a ton of articles. I'm very discerning. I consider the source whenever I'm reading it. I consider the information. I consider how realistic it is that someone close to them would provide that sort of information. And then I share with my followers what I feel is legitimate or interesting or funny. Not everything I post is going to be serious, because there has to be a little bit of humor in the day. I'm a very, fun-loving person. I'm a prankster. So a lot of the stuff I post is kind of just poking fun at things. But also I do provide the information that I found interesting and things that, got me excited about a story, because I think that other people will benefit from that information too. I have so many wonderful followers who email me every morning and just say, hey, I saw this. What'd you think of this? And we really do just have like a chat in the DMs about different Kravis things. And some of the stuff I take from that conversation and I share with the rest of our followers too.
That's so great. You're basically you're the leader of Kravis journalism. I think you're a journalist straight up. You're checking the sources. You're putting in the work. It's great.
Thank you.
So, do you have like a end goal for the account? Like, I feel like you should, when I talk to you, I'm like, she should be in the TMZ room where they all just hang out and talk to Harvey. I think that you'd be good at that.
I love it. Yeah, no, I started this kind of not knowing where it was going, and just, wanted to make a fan account, see what happened. It's becoming so big now, and I cannot believe the support that the page has gotten. I am definitely, interested in pop culture and celeb gossip on a broad scale. So I do have a secondary page that I've started running as well. That's more for like everything, everything pop culture, everything celeb gossip, and so. Not sure what the end game is yet. It is all still developing, because this is really just a roller coaster ride that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
And I'm just having so much fun with it right now.
That's awesome. So what's your other page called?
So it's Champagne and SHIT Talk.
Nice. That's great. I feel like I can picture exactly the kind of page that would be. So I guess my last question is, what are your predictions for Kravis in the future? Their love is burning so brightly, so publicly. There's a chance it could crash and burn too.
Absolutely. I think there's a chance of that with any relationship. But what I do like about both of them is that they pick their moments. A lot of people will say, oh, there's a ton of PDA. It is burning so hot. As you mentioned, but it's not every day. They pick their moments where they feel like they want to share something about their relationship. And then we'll go weeks sometimes without seeing them at all, whether it be publicly, whether it be, on their social media, they won't post anything together. So I do like that they take the space they need to kind of just be together alone. I also think that both of them are a little gun shy when it comes to marriage. And I think that's going to benefit them, that they'll both be very thoughtful about, when do we really want to make this big commitment, and what does that big commitment look like for us? What are the milestones we have to hit before we both feel comfortable with that? And then last, their age, right? We're so much wiser in our 40s than we are in our 20s. Getting married at 20 you have a much lower percentage of it actually lasting a lifetime than when you're a little bit older and more discerning.
Well, for your sake and for the sake of your name, I really hope that it truly is kravis4ever.
Same here.
Thank you so much, Crystal, for stopping by. Is there anything else you want to plug or let us know about?
No, thank you so much. I mean, I'm just happy to be here. Definitely give kravis4ever a follow and show these two some support.
Hell yeah.